the Miami Heat, right? They made some offseason moves this past offseason. They got Kyle Lowry. They got a huge get in PJ Tucker. And this, we're going to debate it. We're going to debate this right now because we saw this on Twitter somewhere. Who's more valuable to the Miami Heat, PJ Tucker or Tyler Herro? And I know when people hear that, they're like, oh, how are you comparing a 2-point-per-game score to a 15-point-per-game score? But we know Tucker's a first ballot grit and grind Hall of Famer. If they had a grit and grind,
he made that up.
If they had a grit and grind Hall of Fame with guys that feature Bowen and Tony Allen and
Ben Wallace,
PJ Tucker is a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's what I'm gonna say right now. Who's more valuable to this Miami team, Herro or Tucker?
Well, first of all, I'm first ballot grit and grind. That's tough. He's the worst offensive player I've ever seen in my life, but. His value on the defensive end is extremely high. His switchable defense, he can guard 1 through 5. He can hit the corner 3 at a very high clip. With Miami, it's tough because this team was a top 10 defensive team in the league last year with Tyler Herro on the team without PJ Tucker. The team, the Miami Heat, what we all have been speaking about is they need a little bit more offense. We feel like this team, going into the playoffs, they need a guy who can hit shots. They just need a little bit more offense. We felt like in the Milwaukee series, they kind of felt overwhelmed. Defensively, they were fine. Giannis actually didn't play like at an elite level. That was actually his worst series if you look at all the 4 series.
In that run,
but just Miami,
way below his averages too.
I think it was like 23. The rebounds are there, but it was like 23 points per game. But they couldn't keep up offensively. So I think in terms of value, Tyler Herro is more valuable because of the fact that he's young. He's more valuable to the franchise in terms of his potential, his offensive game. The three-point shot is the most valuable skill in the NBA, and Tyler Herro does that at a high clip. So with that being said, from off the catch, off the screen, a creation, Tyler Herro does it all better at the three-point level, aside probably from the corner, because PJ just stands there all day. But that is why I would say Tyler Herro, in a game where offensive-minded people are much more hyped up than defense, I think Tyler Herro is more valuable.
I'll make mine brief because I'm basically on the same lines of Riv, and I'd rather just comment back off what you say, your argument, because I don't want to just reiterate exactly what he's going to say. Defensively, what's their identity? Defense for sure. So that's where Tucker's presence is going to be felt, and that's where getting him and really solidifying that identity of being probably the best defensive team in the league is strong for sure, and that's where his value lies. Now, I've been on record saying that I don't believe they're a championship contender because they lack the offensive talent or the offensive, just the ability to have multiple players on their squad to average more than 20 points. Now, I don't think Tyler Herro is a 20-point-per-game scorer yet. Could one day he potentially be that? Sure. But he is one of their better offensive players as of right now. And I feel as if since they need offense right now, that's why Tyler Herro is more valuable than PJ Tucker. But for the fact that PJ Tucker and what the Miami Heat are going for identity-wise, I understand that argument too. But solely off what Miami needs right now, Herro has to be more valuable in that sense.
The reason why PJ Tucker stands in the corner is because he's effective from there. Why become an electrician if you're good as a plumber? I think he's a great three-point shooter. He should stay there. 40% from three. He does his thing from the corners, and it doesn't matter which one, right or left. He's effective at both spots, man. This guy is lights out from that area. When we talk about a player who averages 2 points per game, people obviously laugh and they, shrug it off and say, obviously, Herro is more valuable. Like you mentioned, Drew, the Heat's identity is on defense. I think they got offense with Kyle Lowry. I think that was a guy he's gonna do more than just score. He's gonna be a great playmaker for them as well. When we talk about PJ Tucker, I think he's an assassin. He's an assassin on the defensive side of the ball. The reason why the Heat players struggled so much in the playoffs was because of PJ Tucker's defense. Heat players shot 7 for 25, 25% from the field when guarded by PJ Tucker. I mean, that's like 4 coin flips trying to land on heads. You make 4 coin flips, one of them has a chance to land on heads. That's how great of a defender PJ Tucker is. The reason why Jimmy had a hard time, PJ Tucker's defense. He shot 17% from the field against PJ Tucker. That is how great Tucker is. Tyler Herro, he's a good scorer. Every single Bucks player shot above 50% on Herro in that first round, which is why they couldn't stop nobody. Herro couldn't stop anybody. Rookie season had a great playoff run, but that second year was very tough. This is PJ Tucker on notable players in the playoffs. Bogdan Bogdanović made him shoot 33% from the field. Trae Young shot 37% from the field and 25% from three on Tucker. Chris Paul shot 21% from the field. People talked about, Chris Paul was disappearing in the finals. Why do you think that is? Because of PJ Tucker's defense and Jrue Holiday, of course, because this guy, man, he's just an amazing defender. Mm-hmm. The Heat right now look at the Eastern Conference and they say our biggest threat are the Brooklyn Nets. Who is the best player that gets put on Kevin Durant? Who does the best job on KD? That's PJ Tucker, man. This guy, looking at what he does on defense, his footwork, his aggressiveness, the masterclass, it's something to learn from. If you're a defender at home, you got to learn from this guy because this guy plays with so much heart. He's a sneaker champion. Kevin Durant shot 45% from the field and 31% from three against Tucker. Now, that sounds good, right? It sounds, wow, those aren't bad numbers.
What was the numbers again? I'm sorry.
45% from the field and 31% from three.
Three is terrible.
You see those numbers and you're like, yo, man, KD, you say Tucker stopped him, but KD was doing his thing. You're right. Kevin Durant's normal averages are 51% from the field and 40% from three. Tucker is the KD stopper, or at least the closest thing we have to the KD stopper in the NBA.
We had 50.
If somebody asks me, you want to put Kawhi on KD or Tucker, I'm taking Tucker all day. I'm taking PJ Tucker all day. I think PJ Tucker, he gets into KD's head. Not only is he a great defender, he's physical, but he talks. He yaps a lot. And KD gets in his head sometimes. You saw in the playoffs, they were face to face. Tucker was in his grill. And I think he does that. He's an intimidator. This guy, PJ Tucker, is a guy that I would love to have on my team any day of the week. And if I were a basketball player, I'd model my game after PJ Tucker.
So who's more valuable? You didn't answer that.
It's PJ Tucker, obviously. Yeah. I think my stats speak for themselves. It's PJ Tucker. I think Tyler Herro is a great scorer. But when you're talking about a defensive stopper, good scorer. Yeah, you talk about a defensive stopper and what the Heat need, that's PJ Tucker.
This is where I feel like your argument. You threw up some very nice stats. I'm not gonna lie. I did not know a lot of that. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's a Tucker,
PJ Tucker. He's played a lot of defense on a lot of great players, and he's done his fair share. Here's the thing, though, with Brooklyn. We saw the Bucks. They had PJ. They had Jrue Holiday. They had Chris Middleton. They had Giannis. They had all-world defenders on their team. And, aside from Harden, obviously, because of the grade 2, whatever, I forgot.
Hamstring.
Thank you. The grade 2 hamstring. We've seen Kyrie, who shoot very effectively. We've seen KD, in general, just shoot pretty effective. He had a bunch of 50-point games, 40-point games. We've seen them still be the offensive juggernaut that they are as a team. And I think the reason why Milwaukee won was, of course, because the Nets weren't healthy. And because they were able on offense, Giannis was going off. Chris Middleton at home was going off. They, Jrue Holiday on some days was going off. I think when you have defense can only take you so far in the league. When you look at the last 10 championships, the Warriors were top 5 in offense and defense. The Cavs were the only exception. The Cavs and Dallas. No, Dallas was actually a great elite defensive team. Cleveland was the only exception, the 3-1 comeback, when they weren't top 10 on the defensive end. But you look at the Spurs, top 10 in offense and defense. The Lakers,
yeah.
Top 10 in offense. I think defensively it matters, but I think Miami already has that. I think where they lack is when they don't have any offense. And I think if Tyler Herro makes that jump, which you drafted him to make, then you're talking about a team that can really go to the finals and make some noise.
When I think Tyler Herro and PJ Tucker are polar opposites.
Of course.
Because when you talk about one of the more overrated players in the league who got an absurd amount of hype after last year's playoff run, 2 seasons ago playoff run, that's Tyler Herro. He's now becoming that overrated category. PJ Tucker is the most underappreciated player in the NBA. If the Bucks don't trade for PJ Tucker, they don't make the NBA Finals. They don't win a championship. PJ Tucker was tasked with guarding Kevin Durant, did a great job on him. But look at this. PJ Tucker had the second best offensive rating on the Bucks in that playoff run. He was second in point differential. First was Drew Holiday. Who had the second best defensive rating on the Bucks? That was PJ Tucker. First was Giannis. Who had the highest net rating on the Bucks? First was PJ. Second was Giannis. And third was Holiday.
Can you explain to me real quick what net rating is?
No, the offensive one is funny because Drew being number one and Giannis not being.
Can you explain real quick what net rating is?
Net rating is how many points you beat a team by.
Thank you.
So that means that PJ Tucker, when he's on the floor, the Bucks outscore the teams way more.
It makes sense. Okay, I get it.
So I'm saying, so just to reiterate, PJ Tucker, PJ Tucker is second in point differential. He's second in offensive rating. Drew Holiday is first. Tucker had the second best defensive rating. Giannis was first. And Tucker had the highest net rating. Second was Holiday. Third was Giannis. All I'm saying is that in the Bucks playoff run, the players that get praised are Holiday, Giannis, Middleton, respectfully so. But without PJ Tucker, they don't win the NBA championship. I'm going as far to say that.
But I can easily say, without Tyler Herro, Miami doesn't make their magical run in the bubble. And it's the same thing that you just said, that if PJ Tucker isn't there, Milwaukee.
Let me ask you this.
Talk to me.
In that magical run, do I get to have Tucker on the Heat? Because if I do, I think they win the finals.
Okay, so let's do this. In this little Bucks run, is the Nets healthy?
Yeah.
Then all that you just said, throw it out the window. But
you thought the Bucks would beat the healthy Nets.
Me personally, I did. You didn't.
I didn't, but I thought it was 7.
Yeah, but
I thought it was
you did
7-game series.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought Bucks was gonna win.
But I thought that the Bucks game changer that season was getting Tucker. Once they got and we said it on the podcast. I said PJ Tucker, if he goes to the Nets, he's a game changer for them. If he goes to the Bucks, he's a game changer for them. With the Heat as well. I thought if he went to Boston, he would have helped them a lot as well. I thought wherever Tucker went, he was a game changer. Personally, I think if he went to Utah, knowing what they need defensively, Utah's in the finals. They beat the Clippers, and Utah's in the finals.
Interesting.